Exposed. How a 17-year-old janitor's daughter discovered an amazing fix amidst a CEO's crisis. Mia stood in front of the classroom at the community center, eyes shining with unbridled determination. The room was filled with bright-eyed kids, their tiny hands clutching mismatched tablets as if they were golden nuggets in a treasure hunt. Each lesson was like a breath of fresh air to them, and each time a light bulb clicked on in their minds, Mia felt the weight of hope lift her chest, if only for a moment. She wasn't just teaching them anymore. She was sharing a lifeline. Growing up in the cramped apartment with her father, a janitor who toiled tirelessly to clean corporate offices, Mia learned the value of hard work. His hands, rough from scrubbing, symbolized resilience, to her, a constant reminder that perseverance could carve a path even in the bleakest moments. But when her father got laid off during a corporate merger, the air turned heavy with uncertainty. It felt as if their very foundation was crumbling beneath them. Yet, amidst their struggles, Mia refused to let despair seep in. She took the turbulence around her, the fear, the anger, and turned it into fuel for her passion. "Today, we're going to tackle coding," she announced, grit in her voice, igniting excitement among the kids. Each time she opened their eyes to technology, she couldn't shake the fire raging inside her. This was her way of fighting back against their circumstances, against anyone who doubted a janitor's daughter could dream big. During one exhilarating session, while troubleshooting a glitch in a game with the kids, Mia stumbled upon an oversight, a flaw in the app developed by Derek, the now criticized CEO whose startup was rapidly sinking after a disastrous launch. The realization sent shockwaves through her. If this failed tech could get fixed through her keen observations, maybe she could help save not only her community, but also bring solace to her family's chaos. Mia found herself standing at Derek's office door, heart pounding. "I have an idea," she exclaimed. Derek glanced up, skepticism etched on his face. "You're a high school student," he shot back, disbelieving. But she was unstoppable, resolute in her belief that anyone could make a difference, regardless of their background. Suddenly, corporate politics laced with doubts spiraled around her. With every meeting, the elite management questioned her competence. Meetings were tense, and whispers of dismissal circulated like poison. Yet, what Mia lacked in credentials, she more than made up for in passion. She rallied her neighborhood, involving every single voice and weaving their stories of struggle into a compelling narrative. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue, but the tide turned when critics slammed her proposal, tearing apart her ideas, belittling her upbringing and experiences. Each jab was like a knife twisting in her gut, forcing her to confront the reality of her position in a world blind to her potential. Mia could either retreat into the shadows or step forward into the light, brave enough to challenge them. As she prepared for the decisive boardroom showdown, her spirit flared with defiance. Would she fight for justice? Would she risk it all for a glimmer of hope in a system rigged against her? Her heart raced with uncertainty and resolve. With her community at her back, she knew that she had to take this leap for her family, for every child like the one she mentored. The battle for recognition and dignity awaited her. It was now or never. The destiny of the company and her family's future hung in the balance. Mia took a deep breath as she stepped into the boardroom, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. The long, polished table gleamed under the overhead lights, reflecting the faces of the executive team staring back at her, some skeptical, some curious, but most were just indifferent. This was the moment she had worked tirelessly for, a moment where she needed to show them the fire that had kept her going. "Thank you all for being here," she began, her voice steady, tinged with a hint of the nerves clawing at her stomach. The room shifted slightly as she caught Derek's eye from the corner. He sat there, arms crossed, his brow furrowed, still not entirely convinced she belonged in this space. But she wouldn't back down. This was her fight, her voice. Today, I'm going to explain how we can turn this situation around not just for your company, but for countless families in my community. She continued, drawing strength from the memory of the kids' faces who believed in her. As she laid out her proposal, she could see the wheels turning in their heads. She spoke about her insights, the coding flaws, and how fixing them could lead to a resurgence of interest in the app. Each point encapsulated the dreams and struggles of the community that had inspired her. But there were cracks in the atmosphere. Doubt hung like a heavy fog. Interesting ideas from a schoolgirl, but this is a multi-million-dollar company. One executive scoffed, leaning back in his chair, dismissing her with a wave of his hand. It hurt. It cut deep. Mia felt the sting of their words, but she didn't let it show on her face. Instead, she leaned forward, passion lighting her eyes. I may be a schoolgirl, but I live where these issues matter the most. I face them every day. We can't ignore the voices that need to be heard. She looked around the table, meeting their gazes one by one. Slowly, she noticed some of them were leaning in, intrigued despite themselves. This was no longer just about her. It was about a community that felt unheard and devalued. Mia pressed on, unveiling testimonials from families, showcasing real impact through visual aids. She spoke of the hope she felt through every smile of the children she taught. Each story resonated like a heartbeat, vibrating through the sterile walls of the boardroom. Derek shifted uneasily in his chair, the skepticism on his face giving way to something deeper, a flicker of respect perhaps, or maybe recognition of potential that he had turned a blind eye to. As she concluded her presentation, the room lay in a charged silence. She felt energy thrumming in the air, the same energy that fueled her dreams. Change can take root from any corner, even from the smallest follower, if given a chance. I am standing here, asking you to believe in this chance. The board finally murmured, their expressions a mixture of contemplation and surprise. Could it be? Were they actually considering her proposal? This could shift everything for her family, her neighborhood. But just as hope began to swell in her chest, Derek cleared his throat, preparing to respond. Mia held her breath, knowing this was the moment that could make or break her fight. Would he side with the critics, or would they finally see the value of her vision? Before we discuss further, he started slowly. There's something you need to know about the board's next steps. Mia's heart raced, palms sweaty against her folders. What could he possibly tell her? Had she been fighting a battle no one could win? The tension in the air was palpable as the moment of truth approached, and all she could do was wait. Derek took a long pause, his eyes scanning the room as if gauging their reactions before finally resting back on Mia. The board has been facing a significant issue with our strategy and our market performance. We're evaluating new directions, and your proposal might just be the spark we need. Mia's heart skipped a beat, but the weight of his words hung heavily over her. Digging deeper, she prepared for the worst. But there has been talk about a corporate partnership with another company that could potentially wipe out our current projects, including this app we're discussing. The words hit like a sharp stone. Mia could almost hear her own pulse echoing in her ears. She fought the wave of despair crashing over her. Wait, are you saying we could lose everything? Derek nodded solemnly, his expression softening slightly. I'm not here to crush your dreams, Mia. This isn't just about the app. It's about what we align ourselves with moving forward. If we don't act fast, we may have to abandon this approach entirely. Frustration surged through her. It wasn't just her future at stake. It was the future of everyone she had hoped to help. This community deserves a chance. We've put in the work. Please don't let this be over before it even begins. The tremor in her voice surprised even her. The executives murmured among themselves, and it felt as if the walls were closing in. What could she say to convince them? Out of the corner of her eye, she could see Derek visibly torn. A part of her could sense he was still wrestling with his own doubts. Mia, he finally said, his voice calm yet firm. If we're going to move forward, we need to know that this project will generate profit and interest quickly. You'll need more than just passion. You need a solid plan to convince the board that it's worth the risk. She nodded, feeling a rush of fire inside. I can do that. I've been talking to families and small businesses that are directly impacted by our app. If you give me a little time, I can gather more data, more stories. I could even set up some focus groups. Derek considered her suggestion thoughtfully. All right, let us say you have, 2 weeks to present a revised proposal with evidence. Then we can revisit where to go from here. 2 weeks? She almost gaped. Was this a lifeline or a last chance thrown out of pity? I'll make it work. The rest of the board needs to see the tangible benefits, not just good intentions, he clarified, maintaining his composure. Otherwise, we're still stuck. Mia could feel hope bubbling up again, but she knew she had to execute. This was her moment to transform passion into action, to finally let it burn brighter than any doubt. Understood. I'll show you why this matters. As she stood to gather her things, the weight of determination settled on her shoulders. Every family she had spoken to, every kid who had believed in her, was counting on her. But just as she turned to leave, Derek's voice stopped her again. Mia, this isn't going to be easy. You're up against some serious challenges. Just be ready for what's coming. She turned, searching his eyes for any hint of reassurance. Instead, she found resolve reflected back. I wouldn't want it any other way, she replied defiantly, feeling the flames of determination ignite within. As she stepped out of the boardroom, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that this journey was only just beginning. A mountain lay before her, and she was all set to climb. But what awaited her at the peak? With every step she took toward the entrance, a question loomed larger. Would she find the strength to turn her vision into reality, or would the weight of expectations crush her dreams once and for all? Mia stepped into the bustling hallway, her heart racing with a blend of fear and excitement. She had 2 weeks to save her dream and the dreams of so many others. The weight of the conversation clung to her like a heavy coat as she made her way to the small cafe just down the street. The smell of fresh coffee and pastries wafted toward her, a welcome distraction that she desperately needed. Sliding into a booth, she pulled out her notebook. The pages were filled with scribbles, ideas half-formed, names of families that had shared their stories with her. Each one was a reminder of why she was fighting, why this app mattered. She flipped to a blank page and took a deep breath. Now was the time to strategize. She knew the board wanted numbers, measurable impact. But how do you put a price on hope? She began writing down bullet points. Strengthening community bonds, improving access, supporting local businesses, it all buzzed in her mind like an electric current. But she needed concrete evidence, testimonials that would hit home. Mia jotted down names and contact details, planning to set up focus groups as Derek suggested. She was determined to gather real stories, hear voices that echoed the urgency of her vision. The more she wrote, the more emboldened she felt. This wasn't just a project. It was a lifeline not just for her, but for the entire community. That night, she called her closest friends, eager to enlist their help. They gathered at her house, huddled around the kitchen table, eyes bright with enthusiasm. We can pull this off, Mia said, her voice barely above a whisper. If we all pitch in, we can get those stories. We can show the board just how much this means. One friend suggested they hold a brainstorming session at the community center. Let us invite families, small business owners. Create a space where they can share their experiences. It'll be real, raw, and powerful. Mia nodded eagerly, realizing it was an excellent idea. They fell into a rhythm, bouncing thoughts back and forth. Ideas flourished like wildflowers in spring, everything from poster campaigns to social media outreach. As the conversation flowed, Mia's worries began to ebb. If they pooled their passion and resources together, the board wouldn't be able to ignore them. After a plan was set, Mia couldn't help but feel warmth spreading in her chest. For once, she wasn't alone in this battle. With her friends behind her, it felt possible, as if they were all climbing that mountain together. When the sun rose the next morning, the world felt different. Every step to the community center was filled with purpose, bees buzzing through the flowers lining both sides of the pavement. Yet, amid her excitement, a nagging doubt lingered. What if they weren't enough? What if, when it mattered most, her plan fell flat? At the center, families began to trickle in. Mia greeted each one with a smile, her heart pounding in rhythm with the buzz of conversation around her. But just as she settled in, ready to capture their stories, an unexpected figure emerged from the crowd. It was Derek. What is he doing here? She thought, her pulse quickening. Did he doubt her? Taking a deep breath, she reminded herself this was her moment. She wouldn't back down now. She met his gaze, both nervous and determined, and prepared for whatever questions he might have. But what if he didn't come to challenge her? What if he was here to offer something unexpected? Derek moved through the crowd, his eyes scanning the room with an intensity that took Mia by surprise. He looked different, more serious than she remembered. The roar of conversation faded as he approached her. "Hey, Mia," he said, his voice steady yet warm. There was no trace of challenge there, just curiosity. It caught her off guard. "Derek," she replied, swallowing hard. "What are you doing here?" He looked around the bustling community center filled with chatter and laughter. "I came to see what you were up to. The board mentioned something about a focus group. I thought it might be good to check it out." Mia's heart sank and then soared. Did he really care? Or was he here to scope out her plans, just in case they failed? Before she could respond, he added softly, "I'm glad to see you're pushing forward. You really believe in this, don't you?" Mia nodded, feeling the warmth of his interest wrap around her like a comforting blanket. "I do. It's about all of us. This app can bring people together." "Yeah," he said. "You have a way of igniting that spark in people." His words sent a thrill through her. Maybe he wasn't just here to undermine her. Perhaps he believed in the dream as fiercely as she did. She took a breath, letting the moment sink in. "I'm gathering stories from families, business owners, anyone affected by what we're trying to do. It's vital for showing the board." Derek smiled, and in that small moment, she felt a flicker of hope. "I can help. I can reach out to a few contacts, even put together some resources." Before Mia could respond, a loud voice cut through the excitement. "All right, everyone, can I have your attention?" It was Ava, the local bakery owner, standing atop a small platform, her hands raised high. The room quieted, all eyes on her. "Today, we're here to share stories. We want our voices to be heard, and Mia has done an amazing job organizing this. Let us make sure the board understands how important this app is." A wave of cheers filled the room, and Mia felt every heart pulse with determination. It was what she needed, a community united. Derek leaned closer, his brow thoughtful. "We should share real stories, emotions, struggles, triumphs. That's what the board will remember." "Absolutely," Mia exclaimed, her excitement bubbling over. She felt invigorated for the first time all morning. Ava encouraged them to begin sharing. One by one, families stood up, recounting their experiences and how the community center and the app had impacted their lives. There were tales of friendships formed, businesses saved from the brink of collapse, and personal connections that had made life immeasurably sweeter. Through it all, Mia took notes, capturing the essence of each story. As the last speaker finished, she could feel the room humming with energy like a live wire. But in her gut, a sense of urgency began to settle in. Their voices would only make a difference if they could effectively reach the board. "We still need more than stories," she whispered to Derek. "What if we can't show them how much impact this truly has?" Suddenly, Derek's expression shifted from concern to resolve. "Let us take this energy to the next level then. What if we led them through a live demonstration of the app?" Mia's breath hitched. "A demonstration? Here? Why not? Show them real-time benefits, testimonials, the works. It could be a game changer." Mia felt a wave of adrenaline rush through her. They had a shot, a real opportunity to put everything they gathered on display. But would it be enough? And could they pull it off? As she looked around at the hopeful faces, she knew it was now or never. What if this demonstration revealed secrets she never expected? Mia stood frozen for a moment, her mind racing. The prospect of a live demonstration both thrilled and terrified her. "Okay, let us do it," she exclaimed, her voice trembling with excitement. The energy in the room felt electric, and she knew they had to seize this moment. "All right, everyone," Ava called out again, her commanding presence only further igniting the crowd's enthusiasm. "We're going to show you a sneak peek of the app Mia has been working on, and we need your help." Mia felt the crowd's attention shift toward her, a wave of warmth flooding her body. She glanced at Derek, who nodded encouragingly. Together, they waded deeper into the crowd, the anticipation palpable. "Can we get a few volunteers?" Mia asked, her heart pounding. "We want to demonstrate how the app connects families and businesses in our community." A few hands shot up, and she felt a rush of relief. They had people willing to take part. Derek stood at her side, helping coordinate the volunteers. One by one, they formed a line, a mother with her son, a bakery owner excited to share her story, and a local artist eager to demonstrate her work. As the demonstration began, Mia connected her phone to a projector. The screen lit up, showcasing the app's features. Cheers erupted as the first volunteer, the bakery owner, shared how the app had introduced her to new customers and helped revitalize her business. Mia felt the room shift, the air thick with emotion. Next, the mother spoke about the connections her family had made through the app friends, support community. Each story was more powerful than the last, weaving a tapestry of resilience and hope. Mia could feel tears prickling her eyes as she watched the smiles on their faces, each testimony reinforcing their cause. She glanced at Derek, who was watching with a proud smile. This was what she had envisioned. Then, the artist began her demonstration. As she showcased her artwork seamlessly through the app, Mia couldn't ignore the stirring within her. This was at the heart of their mission unveiled right before them. Was it possible that her dream could really spring to life? Mid-demonstration, the unexpected happened. A man stood up from the back, his voice booming over the hushed crowd. "This app sounds incredible, but what about the people in our community who might struggle to use it? What is the plan for those who feel left behind?" Mia's heart raced. It was a valid concern, one she hadn't fully addressed yet. "That is a great question. Our goal is to provide help, not just create another platform. We'll offer training sessions, maybe even partner with local schools to ensure everyone, regardless of age or tech experience, can benefit." The room buzzed again with murmurs. Mia felt her chest tighten. She had to be transparent. "But I really want to hear more about your concerns." "You're right. Inclusivity is key, and I promise we will work on that." The man nodded slowly, somewhat appeased, but the air was thick with unspoken doubts. Could she really fulfill that promise? As the demonstration wrapped up, Derek leaned in close to her ear. "You handled that well, but I think we need a solid plan moving forward to deal with these concerns." Mia smiled weakly. "Yeah, we do, but we have momentum now. We can't lose this energy." Ava took center stage again, her enthusiasm infectious. "Let us keep this conversation going. We'll have a community forum next month to address all these questions together." Mia felt a rush of excitement, but alongside it, anxiety coiled tighter in her stomach. They had piqued interest, but would that be enough to convince the board? As the room began to disperse into chatter and laughter, Mia turned to Derek once more. "You really think we can make a difference?" "I believe in you, Mia," he said, his eyes steady. "But the real question is, do you believe in yourself enough to take this beyond a demonstration?" Just then, her phone buzzed with an alert. An email? Or maybe a message from a board? The uncertainty loomed large. Would this just be another fleeting moment? Or could it ignite a revolution? The answer lay just a click away, and Mia couldn't shake the feeling that change was closer than she thought. Mia's heart raced as she stared at her phone, the screen lighting up with a new email notification. She hesitated for a brief moment before tapping it open, her breath catching in her throat. It was from the board. The subject line read, Proposal Review. She quickly scanned the message. The words practically blurred before her eyes, but one sentence stood out. "We appreciate your initiative and look forward to discussing the recent demonstration in our upcoming meeting." Relief washed over her like a warm tide. They were interested. "Did you get it?" Derek asked, leaning in closer, his excitement palpable. Mia nodded, a smile breaking across her face, though the weight of her responsibilities pressed against her. They want to discuss it. They're giving us a chance. See, I told you this could work, he exclaimed, his enthusiasm contagious. But then, the man's concerns echoed in her mind. She needed to solidify her plans to ensure everyone felt included. We still have to tackle the issue of accessibility, Derek. We can't ignore it. I know, but let us ride this momentum first, he urged, wrapping an arm around her shoulder. We'll brainstorm together, make it shine. Mia felt a rush of warmth at his support, yet the shadows of doubt lurked just beyond her peripheral vision. The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. Mia worked tirelessly, digging into research, reaching out to community leaders, and planning workshops to meet the needs of those who might struggle with technology. Each conversation fueled her determination. The excitement of the demonstration hung in the air like the sweet smell of fresh-baked cookies, a promise of what was possible. But with that thrill came moments of gnawing anxiety. One evening, while wrapping up her research, she received another email. This one was from Ava. Let's meet. I think we should invite some mentors to the next forum. They could help guide the discussion. Mia's heart skipped. That could be great, she replied, the idea settling into her mind like seeds in a garden. Later, as Mia scrolled through her social media, she found a post about the demonstration the artist's artwork was showcased. People were sharing their stories, voicing their thoughts about how they could help. Hope blossomed within her. Could this become a real movement? Days turned into weeks, and the forum finally arrived. Mia felt nervous energy coursing through her veins as she stood backstage, glancing at the audience. It was a mix of familiar faces and new people eager to engage. She spotted the bakery owner and the mother, all beaming with the same hope she felt. Ava took to the stage first, rallying the crowd with enthusiasm. Then came Mia's turn. She stepped into the spotlight, the microphone feeling solid in her hands. As she spoke, she could see the faces looking up at her, expectant, and she poured her heart into the words. We have a chance to connect our community, but it's crucial that no one feels left out. That starts with us listening and adapting our approach to meet everyone's needs. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the room, but just as enthusiasm bubbled over, the door swung open. A figure stepped inside, dressed sharply in a suit, and all chatter faded into silence. Mia's breath hitched as she recognized him, Mr. Collins, the CEO of the company that funded the project. What was he doing here? He moved toward the front, eyes scanning the room. Mia's heart pounded. Was he here to support them, or was trouble looming? With a deep breath, Mia prepared to face whatever was about to happen. The moment was charged, the air thick with possibilities. And suddenly, she felt lost in the whirlpool of her dreams and fears. Would he be an ally or an obstacle in their quest for change? The forum hung in a delicate balance, and Mia had only just begun to grasp the depth of what it meant to fight for their cause. Mia's mind raced as Mr. Collins walked toward the stage. She could feel the collective breath of the audience's curiosity mixed with hesitation. His presence transformed the energy in the room. Whispers faded. Eyes darted between him and Ava, then focused back on her. Mia's heart thumped in her chest. Would he pull the rug out from under them, or would he join their rallying cry? He reached the podium and adjusted the microphone. A few moments passed. Mia could see the glint of confidence in his eyes and assuredness that radiated authority. Thank you for having me, he began, his voice deep and resonating. I wasn't expecting this many people to show their support for such an important initiative. Mia forced herself to focus. The way he spoke made it seem like he genuinely cared. She tried to decipher his intentions, but it was hard amidst the swirl of her nerves. Mr. Collins continued, I've reviewed the proposals and the project you're discussing here today. It's impressive. However, Mia's stomach dropped. The word hung in the air like a storm cloud. There it was, the moment she dreaded most. What's he done? It falls short in a few areas. I'm particularly concerned about the lack of representation among the community members involved. You need diverse voices if you want to see real change. Everyone shifted, murmurs of confusion buzzing around the room. Derek shot Mia an encouraging glance, but a wave of doubt crashed over her. I understand your concerns. Mia found her voice, stepping forward. It felt like stepping into light after being in the shadows. We're working on it. We've invited mentors and community leaders to join us in future discussions. Mr. Collins nodded, but didn't he seem convinced? That's a good start, but it's not enough. You need to actively seek out those voices. Without inclusion, you risk alienating the very people you aim to help. His tone was firm, yet Mia felt a hint of something else, maybe encouragement. It felt like he wanted them to succeed, but was forcing them to take a hard look in the mirror. Think about it this way. Change happens when we bring everyone to the table. That's when we create meaningful solutions. Mia's heart swelled with a mix of hope and determination. She took a deep breath. You're right. We've focused on what we thought was best, but we need to broaden our approach. We need to listen more. Murmurs of agreement resounded from the crowd. Was this the turning point she'd been waiting for? One conversation sparked by a challenge could take them further than they had ever imagined. Mr. Collins smiled slightly. Then let us work together on this. I want to be involved. I want to support your vision. Cheers erupted. A wave of relief washed over Mia, blending with gratitude. This authority figure was now becoming an ally. But the weight of the task ahead pressed down on her. As the forum continued, Mia felt invigorated. The ideas flowed, and so did the conversation's real connections were forming. She saw faces light up with excitement at the prospect of change. After the event concluded, Mia felt a surge of possibilities. But a moment later, even amidst the happy chaos, her phone buzzed. A text from Ava read, I think we need to meet with Mr. Collins privately. There's something he's not telling us. As curiosity crept in, Mia felt a shiver run down her spine. What would he really want? Just when she thought they were on a smooth path, another twist loomed. Would this new opportunity turn out to be more than they bargained for? Mia's heart raced as she read Ava's message. The urgency in Ava's words echoed in her mind, stirring up the excitement from earlier, just enough to cloud it with worry. What did Mr. Collins want to discuss that couldn't be shared in front of everyone else? She spotted Ava across the room, deep in conversation with a couple of community supporters. Their faces lit up with enthusiasm, but Mia could see the flicker of concern in Ava's eyes whenever she glanced toward the podium. Hey, Mia. Derek's voice broke her train of thought. He approached with a broad smile, his energy contagious. That was amazing. You really held your ground up there. Thanks, Derek. But there's something going on with Mr. Collins. Ava thinks we need to talk to him alone. Derek's smile faded slightly. Yeah, I can see why you want to. But let us not jump to conclusions. He seemed open-minded, didn't he? Open-minded, but also cautious. What if he's just using us for his own agenda? The thought hung heavy between them. Derek frowned, nodding. True, but what if this is the chance we've been waiting for? To actually make a difference? Mia bit her lip, feeling the weight of that statement settle in her heart. They had dreamed of this moment, a chance to drive change, to make the community better. But uncertainty lingered. Hear me out, Mia. Derek's eyes were earnest, an anchor in the storm of her thoughts. We just witnessed a shift. He wants to help, even if it comes with strings. It's better than having no one at all. Before Mia could respond, Ava breezed over, her expression serious. We need to seize this moment. Can you come with me to talk to him? Mia nodded, swallowing hard. The decision was made, but she could feel a knot forming in her stomach. They found Mr. Collins still surrounded by old friends and supporters. His demeanor was easygoing, laughter spilling from him in waves. But as they approached, the air shifted. He caught their eye. You three look serious. What's on your minds? Ava stepped forward first. Thank you for your feedback earlier. We wanted to dive deeper into our project and discuss some ideas. The community needs to feel involved. Mr. Collins scanned their faces for sincerity and then gestured for them to follow him to a quieter corner of the hall. Mia's breaths deepened, anxiety mingling with anticipation. Once settled, Mr. Collins leaned in slightly. I appreciate your initiative. However, there's a nuance I didn't mention earlier. He paused. "What is it?" Mia asked, her voice a mix of determination and fear. "There are some voices emerging within the organization, voices that don't support your cause. They think this whole initiative is a waste of resources." The words hit Mia like a cold splash of water. Her mind raced with implications. What if the very people they thought were allies were actually against them? But Mr. Collins continued, "I believe in your vision. Change is almost never easy. If we're going to move forward, we must tackle this head-on." Mia looked to Ava and Derek, their eyes wide, each reflecting the same unease. They were in deeper waters than she expected. "Are you ready to help us fight this?" Derek asked, his voice steady but unsure. "I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to," Mr. Collins replied. "But you need to be prepared. This will get messy." Mia took a deep breath, feeling the thrill of the challenge rise within her and mix with an even deeper fear. Was she really ready to embark on this journey? "What is our first step?" she asked, grounding herself in resolve. Mr. Collins smiled, a glimmer of respect in his eyes. "You'll need to gather support. And I know just the people to start with." Hope surged through Mia, followed quickly by an unsettling thought. What else was Mr. Collins holding back? As she prepared to answer him, the room reverberated with chatter, but the air was thicker, now charged with potential and the shadows of doubts. What if they weren't just fighting for change, but also entering a battle they couldn't win? Mia stood at the precipice of uncertainty, her heart thundering as she absorbed Mr. Collins' words. This was at the moment she realized the true weight of their mission. She turned to her friends, Derek and Ava, sharing silent glances that spoke volumes. "Gathering support, we can do that," she asserted, a spark of determination igniting within. "We've already got people on our side. The community believes in this, they want to help." Mr. Collins nodded, his eyes narrowing as if evaluating her resolve. "You need to amplify those voices. In this battle, it's time to turn the momentum from mere optimism into action. We'll need to show them there's a real demand for your app." The trio exchanged eager looks, adrenaline fueling their thoughts. "But how can we show it's more than just a need?" Mia asked, digging deeper into her own enthusiasm. "Start by adding real goals," Mr. Collins replied. "Create tangible outcomes that matter. Organize forums, speak with local leaders, and document everything. Let people tell their stories in a way that illustrates this isn't just about technology. It's about people's lives." Derek chimed in, "We could create a visual campaign, use video testimonials. Every story is a reminder of why we're fighting." "Exactly." Mia felt a fresh wave of excitement lifting her spirits. "We can have families speak on camera how they've been impacted, share their dreams for the community. It'll show real faces behind our cause." Mr. Collins smiled, clearly seeing the ideas come to life. "And I can help push this through. Together, we can build a coalition that challenges the skeptics within our company." At that moment, Mia realized the path was only just starting to unfurl before them with endless possibilities. They didn't just have to convince the board. They had to touch hearts, spark conversations, and ignite inspiration throughout the community. As they laid the groundwork for their plan, Mia felt the strength of their community swelling behind her. One by one, stories began to pour in, each a thread in their tapestry of hope. Families lined up at the community center, eager to share, vocalizing struggles and dreams. A mother spoke of finding new friendships through the app, while a local store owner expressed gratitude for revived business. Mia captured each tale, letting the raw honesty wrap around her heart. She felt like a lantern, shining light on their experiences, ensuring no one's voice went unheard. But the clock was ticking. The board meeting loomed larger by the day, and determination surged through her veins. She organized a final gathering for the community, a night of sharing stories, laughter, and unity. The energy in the room crackled. It was a family, and together they were formidable. As Mia stood at the front of the hall, looking at the faces brimming with hope, confidence washed over her. "Tonight, isn't just about our app. We're here to prove that together we can cultivate change, that our voices matter." Cheers erupted, the rhythm of their support lifting her like a wave. Days rolled by, and before she knew it, the meeting with the board arrived. Their assembly was a sea of suits and wary faces, the air thick with scrutiny. The moment Mia stepped into the room, flanked by her supporters, she felt as if they were charging into battle. She was not just alone anymore. She had her community beside her, hearts connected firmly in this fight. With a deep breath, she presented their recorded stories raw, poignant tales that echoed through the silence of the boardroom. The visual testimonies rang true, and Mia watched as doubts dimmed in the executive's eyes. Change is real, she asserted, her voice gaining momentum. Every story reflects the heartbeat of our community. This app is not a mere technological advancement. It's a lifeline filled with hope. We cannot abandon those who crave connection. Derek's voice cut in next, affirming her words with fervor. What we've got here is a movement, and the board can either support it or ignore it. But trust me, if you ignore it, you will regret it when this community blossoms into something unstoppable. The room was silent as the impact of their advocacy settled into the air. The executives exchanged glances, pondering silently. Mia felt her heart racing anew, not from fear, but from the overflowing belief embedded in their stories. Finally, Mr. Collins spoke, his voice steady yet tinged with inspiration. We're investing in this initiative. We will build on these voices together, ensuring our growth includes everyone. But this is just the beginning. Tears welled in Mia's eyes as joy washed over her. A rush of relief mingled with triumph. This was the shift they needed, a moment that would ripple through the community and into their future. The fight had led them to this extraordinary convergence of passion and hope in the days to come. The app thrived, and so did Mia's sense of purpose. Her father joined her in celebration, proud of the daughter who had refused to let their circumstances define their potential. They became a family unshackled from despair, an unbreakable bond woven into a tapestry of triumph. In a world where dreams often collided with barriers, Mia found herself leading a movement marked by resilience. She and her community had harnessed their collective voice to unearth change, and together, they laid the foundation for the future they yearned to create. As she watched the children continue to gather around her, eager to learn, Mia's heart swelled. This was her calling to share not only knowledge, but also to nurture hope. And so, she forged onward, ready to face any mountain that lay on the horizon. That Mia's journey was far from over. It was merely the starting thread in a much larger tapestry. She realized that with courage and solidarity, even the most improbable paths could lead to remarkable destinations. Now, what awaited them next? The answer lingered as a glimmer of hope on the horizon, beckoning them forward. If you felt inspired by Mia's journey, her triumph, her struggles, the power of community, don't just sit back. You need to subscribe now to our channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help more people witness the magic of transformation. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about Mia's incredible ending. And please share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support, and true fans like you understand the importance of these actions.